Silver, official weight 251 pounds, or 113.85 kilograms. His professional record, a perfect one. 27 fights, 27 victories, including 24 knockouts. Tonight, this fighter is proud to represent his Mexican-American heritage as the challenger from Riverside, California, by way of East LA. The undefeated WBC #1 ranked heavyweight contender in the world, La Pesadilla, Cristobal, the Nightmare, Arreola. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing black, officially weighing in at 252 pounds, or 114.3 kilograms. His professional record, 37 victories with 36 knockouts and only 2 defeats. His KO to victory ratio is the greatest in heavyweight champions history. From Kiev, Ukraine, and Hamburg, Germany, the reigning, defending, two-time WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Eisenfaust, Dr. Iron Fist, Vitali, Klitschko.
Chris. Chief second only. Chief second only, please. Chief second only. Okay, Mr. Klitschko, Mr. Arreola, this fight is for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Give me a good, clean fight. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, good luck.
Arreola says he looks like an orange picker, so he's no threat to George Clooney. But is he a threat to one of the stalwarts of the heavyweight division in the 2000s?
Can Clooney fight? Ideally, this won't require a lot of blow-by-blow. They're going to bang away.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. Arreola said he's going to be aggressive, and Vitali said he's going to be aggressive also.
I kind of doubt it. I think Vitali's going to try to back away for the first few rounds and burn Arreola out. But we shall see. There's a right hand over the top by Klitschko. He landed a little left hook to begin the evening. Arreola so far hasn't been able to get inside Klitschko's arms.
And what he's got to be careful is watching just what Vitali does now. He's just so busy, preoccupied with trying to figure out what he's going to do, and that's why then he lulls you to sleep and then he catches you with a big shot.
Body shot by Arreola. Vitali takes one to the ribs and goes away.
Well, I would say this much. At this point, Arreola has created a lot more pressure and tension for Vitali than any opponent has been in a long time.
Yeah, Corey Sanders was going for a one-punch knockout. Danny Williams couldn't seem to figure out what to do against Vitali. Sam Peter didn't exist. Juan Carlos Gomez in his most recent fight got in a couple shots in the first 2-3 rounds. But by and large, Vitali has been able to dominate opponents with his great defense.
And right now, Arreola has slowed down his momentum and his intensity has slowed down right away. And that gives Vitali the room now to start slowly, systematically picking him apart.
Klitschko has stood up to him, trying to discourage him from coming in.
1.5 minutes left on the round. We're exactly midway through. Our clock is momentarily not working, so I'll keep you posted on timings as we go along. Vitali Klitschko is throwing jabs, right hands, uppercuts, body shots, and Arreola is having trouble finding the distance from which to get started.
But if you notice, after every exchange, Vitali gets back in position with the jab to keep his distance. He finishes up everything with a long jab after he gets through.
Arreola's gloves are held high, and he does protect himself as he tries to get in. And Klitschko rarely goes to the body.
Klitschko also holds his left hand well below his waist.
His
Why, Emmanuel?
left hand is right because he has an unusual sense of feeling when a guy is getting ready to punch, and he can sense it and move away. It's one of the unique things I watched when I was watching him in training. He can feel if you're going to throw a right hand, he'll move into the position and punch at the same time to neutralize the punch. He takes great advantage of his height.
It's been a Vitali Klitschko round by and large up to now.
Go, let him go.
We build Arreola to you as a guy who throws punches in bunches, and there he tries with the double jab. But the dominant action of the round has been 1 or 1-2 by Vitali Klitschko. And as is usually the case in Staples Center, a star-studded crowd has turned out as though it were a Laker game. You recognize them, Schwarzenegger and Stallone, not always such good buddies. Mike Tyson seems to be coming to every big fight in the United States these days. Hayden Panettiere is in her way as big as Tyson was. Mickey Rourke, Oscar nominee last year for his amazing performance in The Wrestler. There's Kobe Bryant, who has had some amazing nights here himself. And not too far away from Kobe, Pete Rose. Big boxing fan.
To your left to cut his ass off, all right? All right, deep breath. One more. One more. All right, keep those hands up, baby. Just keep working behind that stick, all right?
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Get the stool. Let's go. Let's go.
Get the stool.
Rose is here to root for Arreola. He's buddies with promoter Dan Goosen and has been a guest in Arreola's gym. But in round 1, Vitali Klitschko 34 out of 88 to only 7 of 32 for Chris Arreola.
Sometimes the best way to deal with a jabber is to jab him, and that's what Arreola is trying to do in this round.
But so far, Klitschko has been keeping the fight right at the distance where he can punch very effectively, and Arreola is trying to lunge and reach, and he cannot really get the range for his punches yet.
It'd be easier for Chris to go to the body, and there he is, banging away at the body as he promised he would do, to try to bring Klitschko down a little lower and get at the head.
Yeah, but right now, Vitali is starting to get his range, and pretty soon you're going to see that right hand come right through the middle.
So you think Vitali's very comfortable with the way things are going?
He's comfortable at this stage right now. He's comfortable at this stage. But I will say, Greg, Chris, as we see right there, is creating a lot more anxiety than anyone else has did.
Anxiety or no, Klitschko still, for the most part, is keeping Arreola at the distance at which he wants him. Landing his jab, his left hook, straight right hand, as you saw right there, knocking Arreola back a step. There's a body shot for Klitschko. He ain't pretty, just effective.
Arreola is making Klitschko work hard, but
Yes.
he's not landing enough punches.
He's not landing, but I tell you what, if he can maintain this tempo for 3 more rounds without getting knocked out, it's going to be very interesting because Vitali's not used to having to fight at this pace.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the reason Vitali threw 88 punches in round 1 is because Arreola's coming at him,
Yeah, he's
and
making
Vitali
him
needs to throw to keep him back. That's how eager Arreola is to get there. He has to hope that he can tire Klitschko out at this pace. Vitali with his hands held low and apart, inviting Arreola to come in.
But he has a feel of distance, or even though he has his hands low, he's always keeping a certain distance where he can just simply move back, right there, and then reach in and punch.
2 good shots by Klitschko, starting to measure Arreola.
At the end of the day, Emmanuel, is Vitali just more of an athlete than he looks to be?
Yes, he has his own effective awkwardness, but it's very, very good, very coordinated awkwardly.
zurück, please. Immer wieder die linke. Jetzt ein bisschen tiefer stehen und den rechten Oberschenkel. Links rausgehen, rechten Oberschenkel. Er läuft genau. Rechte
Okay,
Brust hat mal sehr gut
use the
getroffen.
left again, then go a little bit lower. Go back and go forward.
Und immer wieder, kein Bus zurück. Bisschen wieder.
And slow down a little bit, reduce it, and then evade him, and then counter. Okay, it's easy.
Good.
You heard our German interpreter, Rudy Kuntz.
Keep those hands moving, hands up, all right?
Through 2 rounds by CompuBox count, Vitali Klitschko has landed 77 punches, 34 in the first round, 43 in the second. Arreola, 7 and 10, 17 connects. So far, by CompuBox count, Vitali has a 60-punch edge in landed punches. Can he keep up the pace? He's fighting with an open mouth, breathing through his mouth. My memory is Emanuele always does that.
He always does that. He always has his mouth open and his right hand down, but he still can go the long distance fights still doing that all night because he maintains that certain space where he can get away with that.
And incidentally, he hasn't only been able to go rounds against opponents, but he has scored late knockouts, several of them.
Yeah, and he throws weird punches. He'll throw sometimes like a straight right and uppercut combination. Now he threw a looping right hand over the side. The next right hand might go through the center. The next might be uppercut.
And all of the punches look slow and awkward enough to the layman that the opponent might be forgiven for thinking, why am I getting hit constantly?
Well, one thing, you don't know which angle they're coming from.
Well, the other thing is that he can throw arm punches with power. He's so strong, and that keeps him defensively still in a good position. And he doesn't commit to these punches.
If you're an Arreola enthusiast, you may be forgiven for treating yourself to the notion that he's getting closer and maybe doing more damage. There was a smile on Chris's face there after he ducked a punch from Vitali. Well, the question becomes, who's paid more of a price to get through the first 3 rounds? Is Klitschko wearing down from all the movement and activity and throwing 90 punches per round, or is it Arreola who's getting worn down from taking a lot of leather and trying to pressure inside without getting much wear?
That's a good question.
Well, it's Arreola. He's getting hit, and that makes up for a lot of stuff. How long can he go on taking this kind of punishment? But Klitschko is, with his PhD in sports science, a cold, calculated, cerebral killer.
Cristobal Arreola's wife Erin, daughter Danae, sitting to her left. There were times in the past when Erin had to take fast food joint jobs at minimum wage to help the Arreolas make ends meet. Not anymore. And if you were to win tonight, probably not ever again.
Away, all right? Pick it up. All right? Deep breath. Don't get careless, right? I need you to be aggressive but smart, all right? Deep breath.
CompuBox numbers on jabs becoming one-sided. Klitschko 57 out of 185. Arreola 20 out of 76. Arreola's face is beginning to redden and show the damage from the number of punches he's taken so far.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of punches from Vitali, but one thing he has still been successful, I think, is crowding and creating a lot of more pressure on Vitali than anyone that he's fought in a long time.
Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3 rounds to nothing. 30-27, Vitali Klitschko. Jim, I got to tell you, Chris Arreola is making the biggest mistake I've ever seen. He's standing right in front of Vitali Klitschko. You can't do it. The guy's too big. His jab is too hard. He drops the right hand down on you. You got to give him angles, and you got to work your way inside by giving him angles. Just like he's doing there. Let Vitali work a little. But if he stands in front of him, he gets murdered.
While you were talking, he landed, did Arreola, his 2 most effective punches of the fight so far. One was a right, one was a left. They were wild swings. That's probably what he has to do to get at Vitali.
Harold, you want him to be another fighter. He's this fighter. This is how he has to fight. This is what brung him here, fighting this way. And either he'll be successful or he won't. But he's not going to change. And there's a long way to go.
Vitali depends on keeping distance. That's why he drops his hands. At this stage right now, I would have to say that Arreola is taking that distance away from him, and having his hands down may end up costing him, because to me, Arreola is fighting the perfect fight for himself, considering his limited experience, and talent, and everything. I think he's only fighting the best fight that he can fight.
And the sheer determination of Arreola may be changing the fight. Certainly he has begun to get his supporters in the crowd into it here in this 4th round.
Yeah, he's starting to close the distance a little, but he's still catching a lot more than he's throwing.
And if he gets it tired, he's going to get hurt easier than Vitali, because Vitali can get tired, but when you have experience, it's like a second motion, a second instinct. And you can do an automatic drive and still function. Where at lack of experience, he gets tired, Arreola can get hurt very easily.
Well, Klitschko, he's so tall and he fights so tall, it's sort of like he does rope-a-dope in the middle of the ring without the rope. It's hard to reach.
4 straight jabs by Klitschko. Arreola got in a body shot. Little left hook by Vitali. Right uppercut partially blocked by Arreola. It was Arreola who promised us punches in bunches. He hasn't been able to get there enough. Klitschko is the one who's throwing sometimes 3-4 punches at a time. But not really combinations, just sequences of punches.
Schön vorbei. Bisschen schneller dann gegengehen. Nicht so hoch kommen, ganz schnell gegengehen. Links raus, tief den rechten Außerfall. Klappt jetzt 100%. Wird langsamer.
Double and triple jab, constantly moving your head. But listen to me. Don't push your punches, all right? Get your legs under you, all right? Get your legs under you. Look for him underneath a little more, all right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Talk to me, baby. How we feeling?
Here you see Chris Arreola getting in close range and being effective, because Vitali has to have a little loop room in his punches. And you see a little short left hook right here that landed by Arreola, simply because he's closing the gap and getting closer, where Vitali has a little bit more gangliness in his punches.
By CompuBox count, incidentally, that little left hook is one of only 6 power punches Arreola has landed in the fight. And he's falling behind on the scorecards, as you see from Harold Letterman's unofficial card. But that may not be the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is, can he keep pressuring Klitschko, get closer, and cause Vitali to make a mistake that might give him a chance to hurt him. And in the 5th of the scheduled 12, after Vitali Klitschko landed a right hand, Arreola shook his head as if to say that's not a big one. And Vitali sneaks in another right hand. Lands a body shot up and under. And basically runs away to keep Arreola at bay. Big Vitali switching feet to turn back with the right hand.
Arreola got to be very careful. He didn't get too anxious and get too careless, because he sees Vitali running and get caught with a right hand as he's running in.
Yes, as unconventional as it seems, he's chasing a puncher around the ring.
Yeah, but I think that's the only thing that he can do. But he's got to be aware always that Vitali can punch from a distance where he can punch at. He can hit just like that.
Manages to corner Vitali Klitschko, and Vitali leans on Arreola to push him back.
I have a question. He's landed 6 or 7 power punches to the body in this round. Does he get credit for those as power punches?
They should.
You don't in amateur boxing, but I think you should in professional boxing.
Got to find a way to get inside Arreola if he wants to stay in this fight. Vitali Klitschko not fighting like a 38-year-old. Maybe if you take the 4 years off, he's really only 34.
There was a moment in the 4th round when it appeared Klitschko might be tiring a little. He's gotten very active again here in the 5th.
Well, 4 years, of course, for when he was nursing some chronic injuries to his legs, his shoulders, and his back. But he certainly doesn't seem to be hurting anywhere now.
He's gradually dressing Arreola's eyes with swelling and redness up top.
But Arreola's confidence is growing as the fight's going. Even though he's being out-punched and he's taking a lot of punches, I think his confidence is growing still.
Well, he's got Vitali on the run.
Well, and he knows that Vitali is not a big one-punch puncher.
Thank you. Good job.
He just beats you down and beats you down.
Okay, take down your arms. Take down your arms. Recover. Okay, go to the left and then retaliate with right, step out. Okay, first left, then right.
Fred, listen to me. Don't let him lull you into, sitting there waiting. You gotta fucking pressure him. You gotta keep coming to him, right?
Yeah, but he fucking number lost.
I know.
Pressure away from him?
Yeah. No. Don't you keep doing what you're doing. Cutting him up to the left, all right? And then we'll see what happens after that. Right? And then he goes hands up. Did you work this?
Average numbers through 5. And obviously, as Larry made clear, CompuBox doesn't mean everything. But Klitschko is averaging 33 out of 84 every round, and Arreola is averaging 7 out of 33. Arreola almost walked into a big right hand.
He's got to be very careful, and in particular when Vitali steps off to his own right and gets Arreola trying to twist and pivot to find him, and then Vitali shoots a right hand right on the side while he's turning around.
Yes, because Vitali can fire that right hand across his body very effectively.
He said he had a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C for this fight. But plan A seems to be working so well, we'll never see B and C.
Arreola's still trying. Both Samuel Peter and Juan Carlos Gomez, Klitschko's last 2 opponents, had basically given up by this point in the fight.
That's right, and that makes the difference. I figured this would be the toughest fight that Vitali would have had in a long time, and it's turning out to be that. Even though he's winning it, he's really having to work, though.
Yeah, he's probably not going to make Chris Arreola give up.
No, he's not. He's going to have to work all the way until his fight ends, whether it's a decision or knockout. After every exchange, still, I love the fact that Vitali always gets back with his left hand when he gets to it and gets his distance, or he doesn't end up falling into his man and clinching. In fact, how many clinches have you saw in this entire fight?
Well, this round has begun to suggest that Arreola's momentum is waning. And now he almost got a big right hand onto the chin of Klitschko, just as I was saying that.
And that's just what it comes almost. It's very seldom you land a clean punch on Vitali.
Well, we've talked about Arreola being able to put punches together, but it's really hard to hit Klitschko with the second shot.
Thank you, thank you. Right here. Turn around, turn around.
He knows the space in the ring so well. He's so much better with his feet than you expect a man his size to be. And he holds his hands out in front of him when necessary and either pushes you off or hits you to keep the space.
He's fighting a very controlled distance fight.
Something he knows how to do.
Yeah.
Ask Corey Sanders, ask Danny Williams, ask any of the last several opponents who just couldn't get inside on the big man.
Honest, I think he looks way better than he did when he fought Corey Sanders to me. He seems his punches are much more crisp, have a lot more power and snap.
Well, I think he has more confidence in himself. He feels more like the king of the world now than he did then. We're halfway through the scheduled 12 rounds, and so far, no light at the end of the tunnel for Cristobal Arreola, despite all the ardent hopes of the crowd here in Staples.
One more.
Open your mouth, Chris. Open your mouth.
Those of you who've been watching our most recent fights know that we've developed a graphic effect which shows you where where an opponent's punches are landing. Here is where Vitali Klitschko is painting Chris Arreola through 6 rounds. And you see the big number, 98 on the chin. 18 body shots with the right hand. Most of the damage done upstairs. Vitali doesn't really throw that many body shots. When he does, he's usually coming up and under with them. But his accuracy with the right hand upstairs, along with the jab, reflected in those numbers.
Yeah, and it's still a high percentage of body punches landed by a man as tall as he is.
All right, Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 60 to 54, 6 rounds to nothing. Vitali Klitschko. Jim, he's winning this fight on clean punching, as we see. Nice left jab, good right hand underneath. One thing I noticed, when Cristobal Arreola gets inside, Vitali ties him up. And John Shirley's really breaking him up very, very fast. I mean, he should warn Vitali for holding, because Chris needs that, that inside game. He's got to get inside and punch, and John's breaking him up real quick. So watch for that. 6 to nothing, Klitschko.
Actually, Vitali's been so effective with his punches so far, Harold, that he's held less than I expected him to. I expected him to have to fold up Arreola inside more frequently than has been the case.
Well, he's had the side-to-side movement that's kept Arreola off of him.
Now the Klitschko rooters in the crowd begin to chant. Brother Vladimir is in Vitali's corner as well, as no doubt you've seen. The way the division has gone, it's irresistible for boxing reporters not to speculate. Let's put it this way. You can't resist speculating on what would happen if the two brothers got into the ring with each other. They keep saying it's not going to happen, although both have been a little more flexible about that idea recently. General consensus, of course, is that Vladimir's a better athlete, better all-around boxer, and Vitali's tougher. And they have the psychological advantage of being the older brother, if it were ever to happen, which it probably won't.
Oh!
Good body shot by Vitali Klitschko.
It's amazing he can land those clean shots, and then he can get away before a guy can return a punch back.
And that's, again, Emmanuel, because most of them are arm punches.
And also because he is so adept at managing space in the ring. That punch was on the back. And Shirley kind of nods at Arreola to make clear he knows that.
Supreme conditioning may not be supremely important to a younger athlete, but it is to an older one. And Klitschko is a supremely conditioned athlete.
Well, consider this. The Klitschkos, both of whom weigh about 235, 240, 245 when walking around, they're the only heavyweights I've ever heard of who gain weight during training camp, because they come to camp in such magnificent shape that all they do is add muscle. There's Vladimir. Holder of 2 title belts. His brother holds 1. Nikolai Valuev holds the 4th.
Okay, try to go to the middle. Everything is going fine so far. I tried again and again. He's missing and missing and missing.
Here you see Vitali Klitschko land, which is typical of the kind of punches he's landing as Arreola is trying to come in, catch it with clean shots, and then after he lands those shots, he usually moves away very well right away off to one side or the other.
The 7th round was typical of all its predecessors numerically. Klitschko 25 out of 77. Arreola 8 of 32.
Ruben Oliveras, the great Mexican bantamweight, said that Arreola would have to show a lot of cojones to beat this big guy. He's shown that, but he hasn't shown he can beat him.
Klitschko, for the moment, has succeeded in quieting the Arreola fans.
Yep, he's fighting a very smart fight. He's tired. He's never has let Arreola take control of the fight still. And, you know, he's keeping it at a distance where he still can feel punches coming.
Hard left hand by Arreola.
Maybe I spoke
Tries
too
to
soon.
jump in and make it mean something.
Arreola's just never stopped trying.
And that brought his fans back.
And his confidence is rising too.
Watch your head, Vitali. Watch your head.
Maybe he believes he's succeeded in tiring Big Vitali out with a fast pace. That was part of the plan as articulated to us.
Stop. Watch those heads coming in.
I was about to say 40 seconds ago that Vitali seemed to be trying to take a rest in this round. I think Arreola sensed it also.
Yeah, Arreola's put a lot, and now he's creating a lot of product because he's closing that gap. And when you get close enough, Vitali still has that habit of fighting with his hands down because he normally can keep that distance. But if Arreola can continue to do what he's doing and get in close, it's going to be some problems in the next couple of rounds.
You watch this.
In the heavyweight division, more than any other division, you can dominate long stretches of the fight and still lose. More unexpected things happen here than anywhere else.
It's the only game you can hit a 10-run home run in the last inning.
Blood coming now from the nostrils of Chris Arreola.
Stop.
Blood in the mouth of Chris Arreola.
You okay, Chris?
Blood trickling down the rippling stomach of Arreola.
I got you. Wait. Time.
Closest round of the fight.
¿Está quebrada? Sí. ¿Ya? Okay. Listen. Hey, relax. ¿Está quebrada? Sí. Okay. Deep breath. ¿Qué quiero que lo hago? ¿Qué quiere que me hago? Okay, mira. Keep doing what you're doing, okay? I want you to look for that right hand, but you gotta let it go. You can't hold up, all right? 1, 2, all right? It's there, okay? You gotta keep doing what you're doing. Keep imposing yourself on him. All right? But I need you to move your head and let your hands work on the inside, all right? Deep breath. Huh?
Use your left jab and don't stop. Just jab while retreating.
That last round produced the highest number of connected punches so far for Arreola, 13. And the lowest number connected for Klitschko, 20. Let's see if the fight is really getting closer. We'll learn more in this round for sure.
I got you, thank you, I got you. Okay, break.
The fighter is 38 years old, as Vitali Klitschko is. There's always the chance that he goes off the diving board all at once. We've seen no sign of that tonight. Chris Arreola is 28 and still learning. By and large has been unable to do is to beat Vitali to the punch. Every time he goes in to try to pressure, it's Vitali who throws first.
Vitali's experience is really showing as the fight goes on and both guys are getting tired. You can see his experience, his ability to think and function better because of having been there before.
And within the last 10 seconds, I think Vitali Klitschko got a sense that maybe he's closing in on the KO.
Yeah, yes, he's landing more. Even though Arreola's creating excitement, he's not able to land too many effective, clean, hard punches.
And as Arreola takes more chances to try to get inside, Big Vitali's eyes are lighting up.
Break, I got you, thank you.
Can't stop the right hand.
The fight is turning out as one-sided as the Mayweather-Marquez fight.
How about that quick little left hook as Arreola leaned in? How about that right uppercut?
Right uppercut, looping right hand around the side. Next time maybe straight, then another right hand to the body. See, right now the fatigue is set in mentally as well as physically. And Arreola can't function as good as Klitschko right now.
A slight nick on the right eye of Klitschko.
I think that might be Arreola's blood.
I think you may be right.
No, I think he has a little nick. on his right eye.
Let it all hang out. We gotta take some chances, right? We gotta take some big chances, right? Deep breath. Spit it all out. Spit it all out. Spit it all out. A little more. Indian, wipe his face with the wet towel. Wipe his whole face with the wet towel. Deep breath. Listen to me. Listen to me. Keep doing as you're doing. Keep moving your head. I need you working behind the jab, though, all right? Keep stepping to him.
Here you're seeing Vitali Klitschko land two right hands. One is this uppercut type straight right hand, which he's a master at all these weird, strange punches that he can land. And then he changes up with another right hand, which is straight on the knuckles coming from the top.
He has landed by CompuBox count 111 more power punches through 9 rounds, 135 to 24. Vitali Klitschko has dominated the fight.
I don't know if this is any consolation for Arreola, but the only other fighter heavyweight of Mexican descent who fought for the title, as far as our crack research team can find out, his name was Emmanuel Ramos, back in 1968 against Joe Frazier, went just 2 rounds.
Harold, how do you have it through 9? I'll get you 8 rounds to 1, 89-82, Vitali Klitschko. Jim, I tell you, I gave the 8th round to Chris Arreola. He got inside, he landed some nice shots, but around 9, I mean, Vitali beat him unmercifully, just like he's doing now with that left jab and the straight right hand and the right hand underneath. Vitali Klitschko winning this fight and clean, effective punching, good ring generalship, keeping him on the outside. 8-1, Vitali Klitschko.
the ability to think is a big factor right now as I look going down the stretch. I just look it in the eyes of Vitali. He is able to think so much better than Arreola right now. And, you know, Arreola may really be careful because he's been getting knocked out in the next round or two. It seems like he's getting a little careless. He's not thinking as well. And it won't be from winning one punch. It's a variety of punches that's grinding him down now.
There was a moment in the 8th round when Arreola may have thought that he was a rising tide, and to some eyes it could have looked that way. Vitali has a great sense of timing. He humiliated Arreola in the 9th round and eliminated his confidence level at that moment. Arreola is still trying, but he no longer has the same conviction about what he can do with his hands once he gets in there.
And you know, sometimes you see what a guy going to punch like Vitali, you can't, because he does such a variety of punches. And when you're tired, your mind is not thinking that good, and he throws a right hand to the body, a left hook. Next time, you know, a different type of right hand. He moves and pivots on his punches, where he's punching and moving away at the same time. It's just very difficult instead of being a straightforward type guy where you can clinch and tie him up. He doesn't do that. He's steadily moving and turning and twisting.
Because Arreola is no shrinking violet. He's going past the 8th round of a fight for the very first time in his career, and he's still pressing the action, trying to get at Vitali Klitschko. He has been technically outcrafted in the fight.
I don't know that I've ever seen Vitali Klitschko fight a more perfect tactical fight. Boom.
In the 8 fights which CompuBox has trapped Vitali Klitschko, he has landed more punches now in this fight than in any previous outing. And again, credit to Arreola. He's pressured Vitali all the way and made him throw a lot of punches.
Too heavy a price trying to get inside on him.
It's going wonderfully now.
Fight is over with.
Keep it up.
I think the referee is stopping the fight.
Either the referee or Henry Ramirez in Arreola's corner. And I believe it might have been Henry Ramirez, who simply didn't want to see his fighter go out and get battered around.
I think
again.
it was a good call, because it was just a matter of time.
It was a downhill slide from the 9th round on.
Yes, Arreola would have finished the fight if they allowed him to. But I think the referee made a correct decision. It didn't look like any way he could turn this around with a sudden shock.
Arreola is weeping in the ring. He brought a lot of emotion to this. And I hope that the weeping is just disappointment and not embarrassment, because he made his mark as a competitor, if not as a boxer. In the 10th round, Vitali Klitschko had landed 34 out of 96 against only 5 of 34 for Arreola. The 5 connects were Arreola's low number in the fight, and either the referee or the trainer or both saw that Arreola was not headed north but rather going south. Why bother letting him take another 3 rounds of straight hard shots from Vitali Klitschko? And there's the Arreola family, and they are just as disappointed as their dad. But in every fight, there's got to be a winner and a loser, unless it's a draw. And Vitali Klitschko was a heavy favorite to win here tonight, and he showed you why. CompuBox numbers almost as one-sided as last week's numbers between Mayweather and Marquez. Vitali landing 215 more. Throwing 471 more punches. That's nearly 40 more punches per round that he threw. Vladimir looks relieved, and he's talking on the phone back to Germany right now. 38% Vitali Klitschko on overall punches to 26 for Arreola. Power shots, well, Vitali landed 53%, and we have told you over and over and over, 99% of the time, if a guy has landed more than half his power shots, he has won the fight. Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we give the official time, a round of applause for the challenger who showed unbelievable courage, and he will be back as a force in the heavyweight division. Cristobal Arreola. Referee John Shirley steps in and calls a halt to the bout. The end of round 10, the winner by TKO victory, and still WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Iron Fist Vitali Klitschko.
Arreola severely disappointed, but nevertheless getting some love from the people in his corner. His promoter Dan Goosen there in the background chatting with Vladimir. After all the abuse that Dan has heaped verbally on Vladimir, you got to give Vladimir credit. Maybe he doesn't know what Dan says about him and he's back there chatting with him. And there's Dr. Iron Fist. Vladimir goes by Dr. Steel Hammer.